Here's a curious fact. Nearly 80% of people who create a budget don't stick to it. Many don't even last a few weeks. Why? I'll tell you why. Because budgets are like homework. Categories, tracking, constant entries. It's effort. Do you know what's not there? Real life. Now, I'm not saying people are lazy. Well, some are. It's because budgets suck. They're rigid, they're demanding, they're guilt-laden, and they're invariably overwhelming. I have a solution. The one-page budget. Seriously, you don't need 20 spreadsheet tabs. You need one page to show you where your money is meant to be going. Stick around to find out more and hang out to the end to hear my 2 hot tips. So I did a bit of research. You're welcome. This is why people's budgets fail. 1, we don't like loss. 2, we favor the now. It's more important what's happening now than what happened and what's going to happen. 3, we avoid boredom like the plague. 4, human beings are emotional creatures. Okay, let's dive a little bit deeper into this. Loss aversion and restriction. Budgets feel like a set of rules that tell us what we can't do. That sense of restriction, that limiting feeling, that triggers big resistance in us and we push back. We don't like feeling restricted, we don't like feeling constrained. We prefer the now. It's called a present bias. We are wired for instant gratification. We favor the now. It's an evolutionary thing. If we could get 700 calories now or 1,000 possibly later, we'll take the 700 calories now. That's like a survival instinct. And the same goes for your money. It's a hangover. So when your budget says, wait, save for the future, that goes against our evolution. That's not something we want. Budgets are tedious. It's a tedious process. And we hate boredom. Quick story time. We hate boredom so much that there was a 2024 study done at the University of Virginia where they got a group of people in and told them to sit in a room without any stimulation whatsoever and be bored for 15 minutes. The only thing that they could do, if they wanted to, was press a little button on a table and give themselves a painful electric shock. Over 60% of men and 25% of women pressed the button. They would rather be shocked than be bored. So is it any wonder why we quit a budget that requires us to track every coffee we spend, every bus fare we pay for? No. Emotions. We all have emotion, all right? Spending isn't logical. It's an emotional thing often. It's tied to stress, celebration, boredom. Loads of emotions are linked to spending money. And without dealing with these emotional triggers, a standard budget doesn't stand a chance. So to beat those 4 speed bumps, we're going to use the 50-30-20 rule. This isn't, I did say rule. Don't think of it as a rule. Think of it more like a permission structure. It's not a punishment, it's an enabler. How it works is this: 50%, that goes to your needs, things you must spend money on. 30%, that goes to your wants, things you want to spend money on. And 20%, those goes to your savings or your debt payments. So it addresses your restriction resistance, that loss aversion, by giving you 30% to spend on what you want. It's a permission. It's guilt-free. You're choosing it up front, so it's not a loss. We counter the present bias because it's a short-term focused budget. It's a few weeks, it's a month at most. And we'll talk about paying yourself first in a moment. It's not boring, it's not tedious, all right? There are 3 buckets that you have to worry about. That's it. There's no micro-tracking, you're not updating this day to day. You check your totals once a month, once a week if you want to. It takes you 60 seconds max. And there are no emotional triggers. These are guilt-free. Your 30% once, it's pre-allocated. You don't need to feel bad about it. When your emotions spike, you've got a clear, safe limit. It's 1 number. You can divide it up if you want. You can have like sinking funds for a travel or a new pair of shoes or a handbag, whatever it is you want. It's easy to manage. So let's have a play around, see what this looks like. Right, so this is the one-page budget. Up at the top here, you can see that 50-30-20 rule we spoke about and a reminder to pay yourself first. So you can see here it's split into 50%, 30%, 20%, obviously totaling 100. You can tweak this, so it doesn't have to be 50-30-20. You could do 50-20-30 if you wanted to do prioritize your savings and debts if you wanted to get something done. Or if your needs aren't as high and you want to have a nice little bit of a frivolous week or a frivolous month, you can adjust that. It's up to you. It's nice and flexible, keeping things on one page. So your savings and your debt, these are things you want to get rid of. So obviously your debt, your credit card, your mortgage, things like that. If you wish to prioritize these, your high interest debt, you definitely prioritize in this bucket. Pay that off first. Then we're going to be building up our emergency fund. So that's your savings. That should be between, depending on where you live, between 3 and 6 months of your outgoing expenses. So 3 to 6 months of your needs, which we'll chat about in a moment. And then once you've hit your emergency fund, then you can look at investing or high interest savings. So your needs, these are your essentials. These are things you have to pay. Your housing costs, your mortgage, your rent, your bond, your rates and taxes. If this needs amount is kind of getting higher up and you find you're going over this, then set a goal for the next 3 to 4 months to adjust that. See what levers you can pull. Negotiate your rent, move, shop around for better insurance, adjust your transport, ask for a raise. Anything to get this needs bit under 50%. This is your wants column. Probably will end up being your favorite column. Think of this as your allowance. It's here to tame your present bias so that you don't feel deprived. So the way this works, you punch your salary up at the top over here. It will calculate out your needs, your wants, and your savings as a number. In these 3 columns, you then fill in what those needs, wants, and expenses are, itemized. At the bottom, it'll split out a total for each of them, and it will also produce a variance, showing you how you compare to the ideal 50%, 30%, or 20%. And it'll give you an overall summary, your income less expenses. So I just want to remind you, if you've got a little bit of value out of this so far, hit the subscribe button, smash the bell icon, really helps us out. All right, let's fill this in and see what it looks like. So we're going to assume you're getting an income of about 4,000. It doesn't have a currency, so it could be $4,000, 4,000 Rand, 4,000 pounds. And you'll see it immediately splits it out into your needs, your wants, and our savings or debt. So we're expecting to be saving around 400. Let's fill this one out first. So we're going to service some debt, and we're going to fill out an emergency fund. Let's put in some wants, things we'd like to do. And then let's put in our needs, things we have to pay. And let's see how this fares. So at the bottom here, we can see that our wants variance says 0. So we're perfectly matching that 1,200 in wants. Likewise, the 800 in debt and savings is also got a variance, but I've got 200 over what I should be spending on rent. And you can see this at the bottom here. I've actually got a shortfall of 200. All right, so I can adjust, pull some of those levers we spoke about. Or I could change my percentage. I could pull back on some of the wants and feed that into the needs on a temporary basis. So this is 3 numbers, 1 page, super easy to use and hopefully easy to stick to. I just want to address this idea of paying yourself first. So whatever you've identified as your savings bucket, set up a standing order to come out the day after you get paid. It extracts that money and puts it straight into a savings account for you. And you can then build up your emergency fund, your high yield savings account, your investment fund, but you're paying yourself first. You're prioritizing that savings bucket. And then the wants and the needs come straight after that. It's a way of taking steps towards a positive financial future. And that's your 1-page budget. Nice and simple. The 2 tips I promised you. 1, mindset. When you're doing a budget, it's important to put yourself into the right headspace, to think appropriately about things. When you're adding to your needs and your wants, make sure that you are considering those expenses. Every item you put down there, every expense you add compounds, and it can lead down a road that we want to avoid. Remember, we're all about making great personal finance decisions and ending up with wealth that lasts a lifetime. All right, so every expense, consider very carefully. Number 2, and they're sort of linked. For every amount that you save, that is an employee that goes to work for you. Right? That's your passive income employee. That's somebody who is working to give you money later. So value that saving. If you can adjust those levels so that your saving is a little bit higher and you're comfortable with it, go for it. That'll help you in the future. To conclude, budgets don't have to be complicated. Keep it on 1 page, pay yourself first, stick with it. The link to that 1-pager is in the description below, so take a look. Smash the like button if you got something useful out of this. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks very much.